So today I want to talk about converting from one unit to another. It can be tricky, so I want to quickly share how to do it so you never again have to ask, wait, do I divide or multiply? It works for everything from simple conversions to switching between pounds per acre foot to grams per liter, which was a conversion I actually had to do relatively frequently back in college when I had a summer job at EPA. So you can use it for all kinds of things. There are two key insights that you need to understand to make this work. The first is that units are just like variables in algebra. Just like if I have x over y and I multiply it by y, I can cancel my y's. If I have kilometers over kilometers, I can cancel those out. The other thing you need to know is that if I have a fraction that's equal to 1, I can multiply it by anything without changing that thing. So I'm looking for ways to cancel out units by multiplying things that are equal to 1. So let's start out by saying, what if I had 0.65 kilometers? And I want to convert that into, I want to know how many meters is 0.65 kilometers. Well, I know that 100 meters, 1,000 meters is equal to a kilometer. And so I know I'm going to use that in my conversion somehow, but students will often ask, well, wait, I know I need to use 1,000, but do I multiply or divide? Now, a judgmental professor might think to themselves, well, do you think your numbers should get bigger or smaller, Einstein? But I'm never a judgmental professor, so instead I say, well, let's figure it out. So what I would do is take this, and if I have a fraction with 1,000 meters and 1 kilometer, those are equal, so I can multiply it by something. Since this is on the top, it's in the numerator, you can imagine it's over 1, right? I can multiply this whole thing by 1,000 meters divided by 1 kilometer. See, that's just 1. Kilometers on the bottom cancel with kilometers on the top. And this whole thing just equals, let's write it down here. This whole thing just equals 0.65 times 1,000 meters, which equals 650 meters. Done. Notice, by the way, that if I got my fraction upside down like this, instead of having kilometers on the bottom, I accidentally put it on the top. And I tried to multiply through, I would have gotten 0.65 kilometers times kilometers divided by 1,000 meters, which equals 0.00065 kilometers squared divided by, so square kilometers per meter. Now, it's clear looking at the units that I've made a mistake because this doesn't make any sense. Now, it's actually correct. If I worked it out, I'd come back to 650 meters, but that's how I can tell if I've made a mistake. Okay, but that was easy. So let's say instead that we want to know how fast 80 miles per hour is in meters per second. Now, remember, when I say per, that means the units in the denominators. So I can write 80 miles. I'm going to write it out just because I also have meters per hour. And then I'm just going to multiply in succession until I'm left with only one thing. So I know a few things. I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour, so 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. Now I have hours on the bottom here, so I'm going to put hours on top. So 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. And I also know that hours are going to cancel out. I also know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds, right? And then minutes are going to cancel out. And so 80 divided by 60 divided by 60 miles per second. I'm making progress. I have miles per second. Now I need to convert to meters. Now I remember from running that 1 kilometer is equal to, or sorry, 1 mile is equal to 1.61 kilometers. I'm going to need miles on the bottom, so I'm going to multiply by 1.61 kilometers divided by 1 mile. And I know, of course, that there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So miles are going to cancel out here. Kilometers are going to cancel out. I'm going to be left with the only things that aren't canceled are meters per second, which is what I'm looking for. All right, so if I multiply that out, I have 80 times 1.61 times 1,000 divided by 60 times 60. This is meters per second. And that equals, get out my calculator. Of course, if I were doing this in real life, I'd probably do this in Excel, but since I'm in front of the screen, I need to use my calculator. 80 times 1.61 times 1,000 divided by 60 divided by 60 equals 35.8 meters per second. All right, finally, just for fun, you may want to know how many grams per liter you'll have if you apply an aquatic pesticide at a ratio of 12 pounds per acre foot. Well, here you go. I didn't want to write it all while you're watching because then what if I made a mistake? Anyway, this is faster. So I just take 12 pounds per acre foot. An acre foot is the amount of water that it takes to fill 1 acre 1 foot deep in water. An acre is a unit of area, so 1 acre is equal to 4,046 square meters. There are 3.28 feet in a meter, so that gets rid of the acre foot here. Notice it's not acres per foot, it's acre foot. So that gets rid of feet, acre, pounds per kilogram, and kilograms per kilogram, and I end up with cubic meters, or grams per cubic meter. Now I want it actually in grams per liter, so I'm going to have to do one more thing, but I didn't want to write it there, it didn't fit. Anyway, so I multiply all this stuff out. If I did it right, I get 4.41 grams per cubic meter. I multiply that now by 1 cubic meter per, there are 1,000 liters in a cubic meter, and I should get 0.00441 grams per liter.